Hi, it's Miriam. Glad that you're back again. Well, we're going to talk about some more parenting. Definitely, the more we are prepared, the more inspiration we get and have many ideas of how to tackle and handle different situations. Definitely, we increase our ability to help our child succeed. Really, all parents want to see their children succeeding. Our children are so vulnerable. They're in the hands of so many different caretakers and teachers and influences from all corners and all sides. And really for them to have the maximum success, maximum parental engagement with our children is necessary. We need to take the proper steps to augment our participation with our kids, because this is the key to unlocking the child's potential, especially in today's day and age. We know this can be a most daunting task as the list goes on what to do today, and we're barely, God forbid, managing. And it seems like so many obstacles that can get in our way of just having a 5 to 10 minute face-to-face conversation without all the spinning ideas in our head taking us away from just being able to focus and really be present. Today, we're going to look at some things that you can do to increase your engaging your child so that your child will be more able to comply, to be less defiant, to be more present with you as well. We all know how imperative it is to create a bond with our child. We want to be their advocate. We want to really help them out with all the pressures from school and from the peer pressure. And at the same time, we want to be super empathetic to what they're going through. We want to align all our wishes and our dreams and our hopes for them with what they one day will be able to achieve and accomplish on our own. We know it's coming from a good place. We really want to help them. So we see that just simply acknowledging all the difficulties that the children go through. You know, they're either on buses, carpooling, the transportation of getting from here to there, everything that's happening to them. If we just acknowledge and have that empathy for what they're going through, can make all the difference in the world. We could say something like, I know how hard it must be to have an extra tutor after 8 hours in school. I know it must be so challenging for you. You just want to be free. But there's homework and yet another project to be done. That could relieve half the stress and the burden on the child's heart, and then give them a little more freedom to then tackle the task at hand. Look, we all sometimes feel like we're not managing. And many times we can feel very insecure, as if we're failing, or as if we're really not even what one would call, quote unquote, a good parent. Especially when we have to deal with very challenging children, whether they're lagging in cognitive skills or motor skills or in social skills, and the list goes on. So we know, too, how easily it could be that the child feels as a failure, as a quote-unquote bad child. How many times even us as parents have been labeled as, maybe too permissive, inconsistent parent, non-contingent, and all sorts of labels. We can imagine how our children feel when they get exposed and bombarded, possibly with all kinds of labels in school. We have to help our child have more hope that there is, with determination, with dedication, with effort, that things can get better, that things can get easier. We as parents cannot afford to be apathetic. We really have to affirmatively reach out to our children and messaging them not only by a text here and there, I love you, but with eye contact, like as if they can really see deep within ourselves how much we believe in them and how much we believe in the overall effects of having determination and putting the time in to make things better. So normalizing their challenges and strengthening their hope for change will really help banish their insecurity and give them the strength and the belief and the faith in themselves that they are on a journey of getting from one place to the next at the beat of their own drum. We as parents have to communicate effectively that whatever the challenges that our children are having, whether it's developmental, lagging, as we said earlier, or other challenges, is a part of everybody's challenge. Yes, some more than other have a little bit more challenges, but that it's really inherent in being alive. An example you can even show a child is the tree growing and the process of the seasons and what happens to the tree. And that the tree does not become full-grown overnight. And with the effort of this little seed being planted, look what can come out of the process of digging and watering and fertilizing. It is an example that a child can relate to and feel like, wow, if that is the case for a tree, I can maybe now handle my own process of development. And I can really also be at peace with the process and not feel so challenged by it all. There is a doctor who wrote several books. His name is Dr. Green. And his emphasis is that our empathy on what the child is going through is an access code to the child's brain. It literally helps the child see the parents as advocates to the child rather than an adversary. Because once we understand ourselves and really pay attention to not letting peer pressure from the teachers, from the rabbis, when our child may not be succeeding like the other average child in the class, we as parents may be prone to put that pressure onto the child. So the more we understand and get very knowledgeable about the specific challenges, the more the parent and the child can be team members. So I actually have listed here many different challenges that people come to me as a therapist with their child. It could be the child has poor sensory integration. They could have mood swings. They can have nonverbal learning disabilities. They may have deficiency in executive functioning. They may be lagging in social info processing. They'll hear something, but they will not totally understand the information. They will not be able to process it as efficiently as someone else at that age. They might have a languaging processing problem. And sometimes it's a combination of many different challenges. And so the more we can be specific and find out exactly where is it that the child is having their challenge, the more equipped we are to give them the right care at home, as well as extra help outside the home. Very important factor is to help parents understand that sometimes they have their own built-in narratives about what children are and what motivates them. We as parents have to reevaluate those narratives and move closer to the reality of what it is to be a child. First of all, a lot of parents may see their child as manipulative or oppositional, as if they're truly planning to out-scheme us or to attempt to coerce us. Some parents think their child are defiant, or they're just trying to get attention, and that they are stubborn and non-compliant. But we have to understand that if we just even look at their little brain and see that the physical aspect of their brain is not developed till the size of an adult, and science and research show that literally it doesn't get fully grown till 21 years old. So if we understand that their brain has limited capacity to be able to function like an adult, then we can better debunk our myths and our narratives about why these children are acting the way they're acting. First of all, Chazal even tell us that the sensory integration only starts at the age of 7, and sometimes even older if they're lagging. We also know that we wouldn't demand a baby to go from crawling to entering a marathon, right? They can even barely walk. So we have to, be more aware of what are our expectations and how can we be more realistic and maybe lower the expectations. Yes, many of children's behaviors can be very unnerving when there's so much stress and pressure to get what needs to be done in a day. But if already one's psyche is cleared away from these types of negative labels, then compassionate, empathetic feelings will have room to percolate in your mind. And so that the thoughts will shift. And then when thoughts shift, then emotions shift to the positive. And when the emotion starts shifting to the positive, then the behavior and the reaction becomes more positive. In Dr. Ross's Green's book, he depicts a picture of this lifeguard standing by the sea, and then two parents are looking at their child drowning. And so the message that is stated, it says here, we're encouraging people to become involved in their own rescue. Basically, his message is, the child is drowning in a sea of frustration, especially when he has so many lagging issues, and also Yetzer Hara, big time. And many times, people will mislabel that child as being defiant or oppositional, but they're really just drowning. And everyone needs to get on board to help this child, because he's not doing it on purpose, because children want to do well. And if they're not doing well, it's because they have certain challenges that another child may not. Because just like you would see a person that doesn't know how to swim, you wouldn't think that that child is trying to get attention by splashing and yelling for help. Nor would one think that the child is unmotivated to save him or herself. He just doesn't know how to swim. He just can't. Nobody taught him. Even if you were to wave a $10 bill, he says, at the child, I'll motivate you. Come on, I'll give you $10. But he just doesn't know how. Many times as a counselor, when the parents come to me with their child who's having any kind of issue, I show them this picture. And every time I wish I could have a video of like their face and the way they look. And they feel terrible of how harsh they were, how annoyed they were, how unempathetic they were. And it almost melts away that hardened heart from all the pressure and the anxiety that the parents have gone through seeing their child drowning. Even just recently, I was talking to one of the teachers that I was working with the child, and in a very short period of time, after helping the parents make this shift in their mind, the boy went from very defiant, always outside of the class, lagging in the studies, to progressing very nicely. So I hope this finds you well. I look forward to sharing more. And God bless you.